Okay, I'm looking at tonight's games. They all come from Spain. Levante, Sevilla are in the 79th minutes, the last knock into the game. Rayo Vallecano against Espanyol 0-0, and that's coming up to half time. And obviously Real Oviedo and Villarreal kick off later on, 8:30. So as you can see, at the moment, this one we're concentrating on first. That's Levante against Sevilla, and it's currently 1-0 to Levante. So when I look at the ceiling, this chart, this sheet I've created, I can see that Levante create 1.68 goals per 90 minutes, and they score 1, which they've reached their ceiling, and they'll say 71% conversion rate on that one. They concede around about 1 to 2 goals a game, and that's XGA against them, and they also concede 1.63, and that's 91%. So basically, whatever they get thrown at them tends to hit the back of the net, and they've also lost 4 points this season from winning positions. If we look at Sevilla, they don't score very often, they don't create much, 1.01 per 90 minutes, and they also score 1 goal roughly per 90 minutes. Their ceiling hasn't been reached yet, and they're quite decent at whatever they create, they score. They also, on the other hand, they also have 1.96 XG against them with 1.87 goals per 90, and 95% of them go in, so obviously one of them's already gone in. So in terms of defensive, they haven't hit the ceiling, but Levante have an attacking sense. That means nothing, of course. It's just a guide for me to say, okay, have they hit that ceiling yet? If they play this game 10 times, the likelihood is to score 1 goal. But they're also going to concede 1 to 2 goals, and they tend to lose points. Either wins go to draws, or draws go to losses, etc. So they've lost 4 points this season, while Sevilla have gained 3 points. So that tells me that they do go to the end. They are due a goal, and Levante do concede. So if I'm looking at this now, I'm looking at maybe over 1.5 and both teams to score, and trading that one off. See, 81 minutes, so I don't think I'm going to bother with that one, but that's what I would go for, is Levante over 1.5 goals and both teams to score, because Sevilla due one, nothing they're going to get it. I said if they play this game 10 times or 100 times or whatever, chance that they do score, and Levante do concede. So let's pause the video and we'll see how that gets on. Well, as you can see, I got my over 1.5. I was expecting Sevilla to score. However, Levante have just got a second. I've just looked at the live standings as well, and I've just seen Levante are second from bottom and need the points. So does Sevilla, they're fourth from bottom. So yeah, on these relegation battles, I suppose anything can happen, teams tighten up. Sevilla haven't really offered anything either, so if we go here, we look at the stats of Sevilla, these are all shots off target. I don't think they've had well, these have had quite a few. I don't know what that is, VAR 81 minutes, so yeah, as you can see, they've been the more, as you would expect, the more attacking side, but yeah, they've got the 2 goals, while Sevilla haven't really done anything with their little, but periodic, but not much. They haven't really done much with that anyway. So it's finished. It hasn't finished yet. It's still 2-0. I think there was 5 minutes extra added on, so maybe another minute or 2 for the goal. Who scored it? It was Romero. He's got 2 today, I think. Yeah. And if I go back to my sheet, Levante 1.60, they do create a lot of chances, don't really score them very often, but Sevilla are poor in defence, they do create a lot of chances, but so do these. But as I say, Sevilla just haven't been able to create enough tonight to get the goal in, and these have, so that's why it's 2-0. And as you can see, the sheet does say 1.68 created. They don't really score them, but they do create 1 to 2 goals. But tonight they might put them on the back of the net, and if you do create them, they will concede them. They don't really score much themselves. So yeah, reading the game, I thought they might have grabbed one, especially with Sevilla, with Levante high defensive, but they haven't been able to push through. So okay, the match did finish 2-0 to Levante. Wasn't a surprise. Sevilla just couldn't create enough chances to score past Levante, despite Levante's high chance created against them and They normally do concede a goal or two, but they just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. However, this next game's Rayo Vallecano is roughly at half time now, just kicked off the second half. So what I'm thinking here is they do create a lot of chances. They do score a lot. They do score at least a goal a game, but their strikers aren't very good. They only hit 66% of the chances they hit. But they don't concede at the other end. They do tend to control the game a lot. And they've got a decent goal against percentage of 71%. Espanyol, on the other hand, 1 point, they don't create much, but they do tend to score what they create. A 94% chance they've got better strikers than Rayo Vallecano, but they haven't got the creative flair that Rayo Vallecano have got. But their defence in hand is a bit. They concede 1.79 chance XG against them. They tend to concede what they get created against them, and they got a 94% GA. So the higher that is, the worse it is for the team. But they do tend to save a point this season more than they should have had. So they're really neither here nor there. I've got a feeling that Rayo Vallecano's goals for is so low that that's what's causing them to lose the 5 points. They don't score enough goals, and they tend to maybe concede a cheeky one at the end. Or they should have had enough chances to win the game, and they haven't. Is probably more likely because their defence is decent. If I look at the league table position of Rayo Vallecano and Espanyol, Rayo Vallecano sitting 13th. Yeah, well, they're not safe yet. They're 3 points above the relegation zone with, 38 games with 6 to play after this one. And Espanyol sit just above them with 39. If you're looking at Espanyol, they're probably one of the worst, or they're definitely in the bottom section of the goals conceded. And they're probably there for goals scored as well. If you look at Rayo Vallecano, they don't score much, and this is what I'm trying to say, 29 goals. They create a lot of chances, but that is probably second worst in the league. And 38 is up there, probably in the top group, so that's what I'm trying to say when it comes to losing the points. They're in games, they create lots of chances, but someone who scored 29 goals in a season after 32 games is, yeah, you can see why they lost 5 points. Since they lost that one 3-0 to Mallorca, won that one 1-0, lost that 1-0 to Barcelona, they drew that one to Levante, they drew that one to Sevilla. So you can see the fact that they probably create a lot of chances in their games, and they haven't put them away, and they've been caught at the end. So is that going to happen today against Espanyol? Let's go back to the sheet. Espanyol do score a goal a game. So let's just see what happens here. I think it's going to be a close game, and I think it's going to be, because it's probably going to be settled by a goal. So let's just see what happens. As I said, this should, looking at the defences, Espanyol's defence, it should be a 1-0 to Rayo Vallecano, but with this bit here, minus 5 points, and knowing what kind of team they are, they don't put the chance away and then they concede to lose points. I wouldn't mind putting a bet on Espanyol to win the game. So let's just see. This is what I mean by Rayo Vallecano. So they said they create a lot of chances. They've got a 1.71 XG as compared to the 1.9 from Espanyol. So Espanyol are having pot shots, 56. So they're having lots of shots on target. The only shot on targets come in the 11th minute, which coincides with their low XG, low creation, if I remember rightly. So look, Espanyol, 1.26 to 1.19. So you can see they do create a lot of chances. Don't put them off away, and that's what the chart is showing right now. Where am I looking here? Here. That's what the chart is showing right now. So they're creating a lot of chances, but they're not putting them away. But looking at the 1.71, they normally do put at least one away. and that's the story of their season. They seem to create a lot, but they tend to drop points because they don't put their chances away. And you know, in football, when you don't put your chances away, it leaves the door open on the other side, and that's what's happening when they've drawn against games like Levante, drawn against Sevilla, because they haven't been able to put these chances away, or put more than one away, should I say. And Espanyol will come back, or other teams will come back, or they've scored first or whatever, and so that's why they tended to lose the points that they have. And what I mean by that is this -5 here. The same as Levante, they tend to create a lot. However, same with Espanyol and Sevilla, they tend to concede a lot of goals. Kind of like similar matchups, isn't it? That one ended 2-0. And Rayo Vallecano do concede, but they've got less of attack, 66% against 71 for Levante. And they say they don't concede much. They do tend to control a lot of games. 0.7, 1.03 is their XGA against normally. At the moment it's 1.09. So yeah, as I said, this game's too close to call. They don't normally score, but Espanyol, like Sevilla, do have a poor defence, and like Sevilla, they do concede 94% of their chances. It's whether this attack is good enough to pierce that defence, and I don't think so. I don't think it is. I think that defence is rock solid. I think it's tight, and I cannot personally, I might come back to bite me in the ass, but I don't think so. I think this game's going to end up to Rayo Vallecano, maybe one or two, looking at their XGA against. So we'll see. Yeah, that was a decent read. It's 1-0 to Vallecano. They've just scored in the 88th minute. So yeah, I had a feeling they score one, maybe two, but they scored one. So yeah, it's a decent read. Espanyol haven't got the firepower to score past this Vallecano defence. 1.19. They've created some chances. They've had 3 shots on target. They've got an XG of 2.19, but as I said, they just couldn't break down that Vallecano defence. And when time come, there was always going to be one winner, and that was Vallecano. I'm still 88 minutes now, in the 89th minute, so there's still time for Espanyol to grab a goal, but so I didn't think they could grab it, and it's 1-0. So that's a great read on that, and that's kind of where that's took me. Is to that. However, Vallecano have dropped 5 points from winning positions, so let's not get too hasty with this. But their defence is really good, and I've said they've scored 1 goal, but they have drawn the other 2 games against bottom of the table sides 1-1. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did finish 1-1, especially with Espanyol. They've got a habit of clear, well, they've got a point extra on what they should have. So this game may not be over, but at the moment it's 1-0. Expected Rayo Vallecano to boss the match, and as I said, second half they've just been outstanding. Well, not outstanding, they've had some right good chances though, and they've put one of them away eventually, which is basically 66%. So they've had 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to say they've had 6 shots on target at 10, which is 66%. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Instead they've had 10 shots, they've had 1, 2, 6 on target, which is roughly 66%. And they've had 1, 2, 3 on target. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 out of 7. So yeah, I'm pleased with that, to be honest, but I am really expecting, and Espanyol are still attacking, so I'm expecting maybe another. I wouldn't be surprised if Espanyol come back to peg a draw and get the 1.5. Let's have a see. Okay, it's finished 1-0. So, yeah, I was right. They didn't have the... But they did give it a hell of a go. Look at their sales. The goal was scored here in the 87th minute. And then they give it one hell of a go. So probably from the 70th minute mark, they were probably the better team. And then they had a couple of chances and scored on them. So, yeah, it's 1-0 to Rayo Vallecano. Thought it might have gone 1-2 goals. But yeah, I had a feeling that Rayo Vallecano would have got the goal over Espanyol. So now we're coming to the final game of the night. So far I would have had 1.5 on that one. Probably missed out on both teams to score. I can't remember what it said this one now. Was it 1.5 or 1? I can't remember. I knew they'd score. I wasn't expecting Espanyol to score, but there was a chance because of Rayo Vallecano losing points towards the end of the game, he's not scoring too many. So, yeah, I'll take that one as well, I think. Oviedo against Villarreal, and I'll start writing these down as well. Oviedo against Villarreal. Let's have a look at this one. I'm expecting Villarreal. They're top of the table, near enough Villarreal. Let's just see where they are in the table. Let's look at life standards. Yeah, Villarreal, I think they're doing really well. Yeah, they're third in the table at the moment. They don't score as many goals as the top two, but who does? But they're right up there amongst, I think they're the third or fourth, they're the third best team for goals behind the top two, which isn't bad considering they're unbelievable teams. And they're playing Oviedo, who are bottom of the table. They've conceded 49 goals and only scored 24. Let's have a look at the tail of the thing. And as you can see, Oviedo here, they're playing at home. They don't create much, they don't score much, and they only considering they don't create much or score much, they only convert 46% of their chances, which gives you that 26 goal ratio. Again, they don't, but again, on the against them side, they only concede XG of 1.36, and so they actually concede 0.93 goals per 90. When you consider where they are, that isn't a bad defensive record. 69% as well. They must have a decent defence. I just want to look at that defence for a second. Oviedo, so 49. Yeah, it's matching. Well, as I said, it's not the worst. Not the best, but it's not the worst. Minus 25, I'd say that's just because they don't score enough goals. So that when you're looking at Levante, you look at Sevilla, Mallorca, Elche, they're probably around about here. But Sociedad conceded just as much as them, so they're probably around this area here when you're looking at goals against. Their goals for, they're the worst, and that's probably why they're going to go down. And almost as only Getafe has scored 28, yeah, isn't anywhere near them. So, yeah, they don't score goals, but they don't tend to concede any anyway. Let's just go back to that second one. Have a look at this for a minute. Oviedo, so they won Celta Vigo 3-0 to keep them in with the hunt. They beat Sevilla 1-0. They lost 4-2 to Levante. They won 1-0 against Valencia and they scored 1-1, so 1, none. They lost 5 there. Again, none. And again, none. So they don't really concede many chances. They've had some decent wins. They beat Sevilla on the 5th of April. They beat Oviedo. They beat Celta Vigo, who are 7th in the table, 3-0 in the last game on 12th of April. So they really lost 1 in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're playing a Villarreal side who actually was on the wrong one there, so they lost 4 in the bounce. No, they beat Villarreal, they beat Bilbao, they lost to Girona. This team struggles against bottom of the league sides. They're 1-0 up anyway. Let's just see. And Oviedo are having chances, so let's just see if I can call this one. It's too early yet, it's only 30 minutes, but yeah, they don't score many away, but they create much away from home. And basically what they do get created against them ends up in the back of the net. It's like something to look out for Oviedo, because they are in a bit of form at the moment. But it's whether that can penetrate that and whether that can penetrate that. We're looking at a very low game with goals. So let's just see. Yeah, definitely. I'm just guessing maybe 2 goals in this game. And I wouldn't be surprised to finish 1-1. Because none of them do create that much. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was 1-1 at the end of this, looking at the stats so far this season. Okay, the final game's just finished, and it's finished 1-1. I think I predicted that too. It was a long time ago, that was, yeah. So 1-1. And the sheet basically told me it was going to be 1-1. So I'm just go back to Real Oviedo. Yeah, it was this I was kind of looking at, and also this. I know they didn't really create much, but Villarreal, we noticed that they perfectly don't do well against. Sorry, that message just caught me out there. Yeah, Villarreal don't really score that much away from home, and they struggled against the teams lower them in the previous matches. And these guys don't concede much either. So yeah, that's why I got 1-1. So great end. I think about a good night tonight. We've kind of managed to guess the game flow, who would be attacking more, and I also managed to probably get a couple of, if I would have been betting tonight, I probably would have made myself a bit of money tonight. So yeah, all good. Let's carry on with tomorrow.